Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, he surrendered to police today, but he told ZNS News his side of the story first. Ahead tonight, the charges this man says he's not guilty of. Police shoot a suspect in an early morning confrontation. The weapon the suspect used that police say caused them to shoot. And an investigation is underway after confidential immigration documents end up online. All those stories and more straight ahead in the Bahamas tonight.
Covering the islands of the Bahamas, ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news is brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
And welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. I'm Keishla Adderley. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news tonight, a man wanted by police for arson and threats of death surrendered to police today. But before he did that, he contacted our newsroom to tell us his side of the story and to have us accompany him to the police station. The wanted man contacted our Fern Carey with his defense in an alleged domestic-related conflict.
50-year-old Colin Bastian was wanted by police for threats of death and arson in connection with a house burning in Orange Hill a few days ago. He previously lived in that house with his girlfriend, but the contractor and father of two claims he knows nothing about the allegations. On Thursday morning, Bastian contacted ZNS News and spoke with Sawyer Report host Jerome Sawyer and this reporter. He wanted to turn himself into police. Bastian arrived at the station shortly afterwards, wanting to tell his side of the story. Maintaining his innocence, Bastian claims he and his girlfriend had broken up days before the fire.
Saw it in the newspaper, and I heard people talking on the streets. So I know I was living there, and the lady who occupied the house was my girlfriend, and we had a little problem, and now I'm being accused for arson.
The father of two says he's had previous brushes with the law, and he explained why he turned to ZNS this time for help.
I feel like you're the best person for the job. I feel like you know what you're doing, and I feel safe talking with you.
Shortly after the interview, our news team went with Bastian to the Cable Beach police station where he surrendered to police. His spiritual advisor, Minister Carlos Reed, and his two daughters were also present. Inside the station, officer in charge, Woman Superintendent Elaine Sands, had this to say.
I thank both of you, you and Mr. Reed, for bringing in Mr. Bastian, because we really need to question him in reference to a matter. His matter would be properly investigated. I have an investigator on this case who will now interview him.
Ironically, Bastian is the uncle of Desmond Key. You may recall that Key was arrested on a traffic violation in June of 2007, and while in custody at the police station, he was allegedly beaten by police. Key had to be hospitalized for months. He eventually slipped into a coma and died in 2009. Two police officers are accused of Key's death. That manslaughter trial opens in Supreme Court this coming Monday.
Now it's unclear how long police will be questioning Mr. Bastian and whether he'll remain in custody. However, police say it will depend on the outcome of the interview they're conducting today. Fern Carey, ZNS News.
The quick response by police today foiled an alleged housebreaking attempt, but soon after that, police say they had to fire back at an aggressive suspect. Before the episode was all over, two police officers were injured and the suspect shot multiple times. Our Carla Palmer has the story.
The incident began in the Monastery Park community around 9:30 a.m. on Thursday, ending in a cul-de-sac off Prince Charles Drive. Director of the National Crime Prevention Unit is Stephen Dean.
Police received an information of a house break-in in progress at Monastery Park. Police officers responded, and upon arrival on the scene, they saw a suspicious gray Honda vehicle. The vehicle sped off. A chase ensued that ended in the Canterbury Park area.
Police believed the suspect, in his attempt to get away, did not know the area very well. That's why he ended up at the dead end.
The vehicle came to a stop. The vehicle crashed into the police vehicle, causing damage and injuries. A subsequent police vehicle that was also involved in the chase. Officers exited that vehicle, asked the suspect to come out of the vehicle. Suspect refused and reversed into the officers, injuring one of the police officers. It was at that point police know that it was a danger scene. Their life was in danger. The car refused to stop. Police withdraw their service weapons, fired at the vehicle. The suspect received multiple gunshot injuries.
Authorities feel the suspect was not acting alone. As for those injured officers, their conditions are reportedly not life-threatening.
This is an example to show that police are actively on patrol, and we want to send a message to those who still hell-bent on committing criminal offense, that the police will not spare no effort. All of our resources are on the streets to ensure that we bring peace and tranquility to the Bahamas.
Valencia Glinton has lived in Canterbury Park for more than 20 years. She expressed shock at the event taking place.
This is a very quiet area. Anybody coming through here, you definitely know. Anybody passing through, any unusual car, sense of almost an alarm.
Carla Palmer, ZNS News.
Police have identified the man shot and killed on Sunday past at Wilson Track. He is 49-year-old Michelle Joseph of Wilson Track. Police reported earlier this week that the victim was killed in an apparent robbery. Preliminary reports were that 3 culprits entered a complex demanding cash. The occupants reportedly refused, and that's when Michelle was shot in the back. He was taken to hospital where he later died. The search for suspects continues. Immigration officials are concerned about the leakage of some sensitive documents to an online tabloid. The documents show the names and other personal information of foreign nationals who obtained Bahamian citizenship in November 2011 and January of this year. The minister responsible for immigration, Deputy Prime Minister Brent Simonet, spoke with us by phone today from Chile.
This is a list that are prepared for swearing in. So, for instance, I had a swearing in yesterday, and the list would have 35 names on it, their immigration number, their date of birth, and on the far right column would have whether they were married to a Bahamian, born here, lived here all their lives, or their date of birth. That'd be information that would be prepared by the officials for us to use in a swearing-in ceremony, not for presentation to the public.
In other news tonight, to say that Bahamians responded favorably to the initial public offering of shares in the Arawak Port development is an understatement. In fact, the IPO is oversubscribed 3 times over the available share offerings and is the largest single IPO in Bahamian history. Ken Kerr of Providence Advisors says by the time all the applications are tallied, there'll be around 8,000 to process.
Our preliminary results indicate that while we were looking for $10 million in investment from new shareholders, we are in excess of 3 times that amount in terms of the dollar value of subscription. So probably we'll finish the day at an oversubscribed ratio of 3.5 times over. So that's good, but that's still preliminary at this point.
Now, applications are still being processed and Family Island applications are still being collected. Kerr says interest in the program is an indicator of public validation in the port as a sound investment. Listen to what he says about who expressed interest in the program and to what degree.
The individual Bahamian could have taken it into oversubscription by themselves alone. And they are accounting for 90% of the applications. They will be 90% or more of the applications or the investors. The institutional investors themselves also could have oversubscribed the offer, but they are less in actual numbers, but almost equal in dollar terms.
Reading of several bills. The Freedom of Information Act was read, and Leader of Government Business in the Senate, the Honorable Dion Folks, said the bill, which is already tabled in the House of Assembly, will be withdrawn and debated in the Senate first before it goes to the lower chamber. Those financial services bills and the amendments to the Parliamentary Elections Act were also read for the first time. Minister Folks also presented several resolutions which were passed in the House of Assembly last week. They include the transfer of land to the College of the Bahamas and the National Insurance Board, a resolution for chronic prescription drugs, and transfer of land in various family islands. Well, also during this morning's session, Senate President Lynn Holowesko talked about the upcoming visit of Prince Harry of Wales. In celebration of the Queen's Diamond Jubilee, the royal family is visiting a number of Commonwealth countries, and one of Prince Harry's stops is the capital, Nassau. In light of this, the Senate President urged downtown stakeholders to ensure that the city center is in tip-top shape.
I would encourage all persons who have any connection with properties that will be shown to the world during this visit to wash up, clean up, spruce up, paint up, decorate up, do whatever you can. But let's keep our heads up. Let's do what we need to do to show that the world, to show to the world that we are proud Bahamians.
Well, still to come in the Bahamas tonight, the double win that solar energy will bring to some lucky consumers tonight. That story is still to come.